Very good afternoon, all everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. This is IC Talk, Social Entrepreneurship Talk, and today we are covering a topic of technology as an enabler for social enterprises. Precisely, we would be looking at how technology helps social ventures to function better. So that's our session today, and especially I'm very happy to moderate this session today, and very special because our speaker Usha Devi Venkatachalam and her expertise in this technology especially. And before we get into, I'll just introduce myself. I'm Mogili Vijender, social entrepreneurship professional and contributing constantly in evolving social entrepreneurship ecosystem through my research experience. And I strongly believe that social entrepreneurship accelerates communities development, especially helps deprived communities get better in their life. And I am a postgraduate from social entrepreneurship from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Mumbai. And I come with a very diverse experience where I have worked with government and private agencies, majorly in the development sector, always worked in the SDGs, I would say, sustainable development goals or practices. And currently, I'm with all this experience. Currently, I'm leading a social entrepreneurship wing in Vikasa, which is a host organization of this session, where I work with the Center for Social and Responsible Business wing, and I lead social entrepreneurship initiative, where we work with incubating social startups and capacity building through these kind of sessions and workshops and trainings to all the social entrepreneurship stakeholders. And before we get into the session, I would also say one thing, like you would be given an opportunity to text your questions. You can see the Q&A panel. It's already there in front of panel. So you put your questions in there during any time of the session. We'll collect your questions in the last and share it with the speaker. Then speaker would answer your. So this is all about me and this session. And when it comes to Bala Vikasa, the host organization, Bala Vikasa is a 4-decade-old organization which is constantly working with deprived communities like women, widow, farmers, orphans, and like we have been into very diverse projects, which ranges from clean water supply to rural areas to water conservation to organic farming, whatnot. Like we are into almost all the diverse problems of rural India, I would say. And as our philosophy, our founder and like our organization philosophy is to help the communities to help themselves. So this was the fundamental philosophy of the organization, and through which we have been with working with communities at the same time, where we call it as CDDP, Community Driven Development Programs, where we have more than 13 different programs where we closely work with various communities. And we have a second vertical of PDTC, People Development Training Center, which is in Warangal, where we train and build capacities of development professionals, CSR professionals across. Like we have customized trainings in national, local, regional level. We have so many experts into this, and that is our second wing. And as I was introducing previously, Center for Social and Responsible Business, which is a wing, which is a vertical again, where we work with social entrepreneurs and responsible businesses to develop and adopt responsible business practices. So this is all about my organization, Vikasa. And coming back to our this session, I would say technology is like seems to ease the burden of all the enterprises at a large in the current scenario. Like nowadays, like nobody is unknown to the technology, or like they always knew one or the other tool, one or the other tool which enables them or like makes them even more be there for ease their operations, ease their doing. So with all these like deployment, so many technologies, so many, we are just lost, or like I would say we are overwhelmed with so many tools, and which generally helps most of the senior teams or leadership teams in the organization, which has been a enabling factor. Technology has been an enabling factor for social enterprise management and any enterprise management in generally any other activity. So with that context, we are always being focused on social entrepreneurship. We have been conducting webinars previously. We had a series of webinars on why social enterprise fail or succeed previously. And today we are having a series of social entrepreneur talks where we had previously multiple social entrepreneurs covering various stories of their own social enterprise initiatives. And today also we have our Usha Devi Venkatachalam, who is a social entrepreneur herself, and then she is having a very uh, great experience as a technology consultant. And I would now like to actually introduce our speaker today, who is Usha Devi Venkatachalam from Tamil Nadu, and who is founder and CEO at Krishi Janani. And Krishi Janani is a farmers network and consumers marketplace for a regenerative agroecology. It's basically based in Tamil Nadu, India. She is a technologist who has implemented software solutions and conducted capacity building trainings in 20 plus countries. Her professional expertise is in architecting sustainable, not just sustainable, but like culture specific and locally appropriate technology solutions in especially resource constrained environments. With this combined with her family's agricultural roots has resulted in Krishi Janani, a farmer to consumer FTC marketplace facilitating Tamil Nadu's farmers transition to profitable and regenerative agroecology by connecting them to health conscious consumers seeking health quality, verified organic. So this has been her initiative, and she has been involved in the social impact space along with technology intervention for like, more than a decade now. And now I will, Parvati.
I mean, I guess there is some network issue at her area. I mean, she just got disconnected. I think she'll join soon. Participants, please be waited.
Yeah. So participants, we all know you have been attending these kind of sessions, I guess. Like sometimes it all starts with princess. So please be patient, and like by the time she joins us back, maybe we can simply have our poll, which is just we are trying to get your opinion on technology. So we'll just open that poll. We would like you guys to actually answer that and like see what you think about it. Please, you would have been seeing poll on your screens. Please do answer. Maybe our speaker would take a minute or two to join back. So till then, maybe you can simply answer this poll, which is on your screens, icebreaker quiz. For you, technology is what is that you feel about technology? And then you have second question, you would like to be known as technologist or Lude. Please do answer this poll. Maybe we can just, yeah, sure, finally. We just took this advantage to open this poll.
Sure. Sorry about this. Of course, we had an hour's call yesterday, and I had been online for half an hour now. And right when the event starts is when it decides to go off.
Sometimes it happens.
Yeah. I hope you can hear me okay.
Yeah, we can hear you clearly.
Yeah. So hello, everyone. Sorry for the technical difficulties. We can't talk about technology, especially in our context, without technical difficulties. So I think that this is a reminder, not just for ourselves, but also for our consumers, beneficiaries, customers, whatever we call them. Because not everybody's connection is the same. So I'm dialing in from rural Tirupur district in Tamil Nadu. For a 1 minute introduction about myself, I have a technology background. I did some software development. I have done interactive design, engagement design, and slowly moved up the ladder to build large scale solutions with sort of database, complicated databases in the backend for international NGOs. And my specialization in my professional capacity was to build technology platforms for people in very resource constrained environments. When I say resource constrained environments, I talk about all of the difficulties that all of us face almost on a day-to-day basis, but it's 10x if you're in rural India, without data connection. And from that background, we did a lot of consulting. We built a lot of complicated technology backgrounds. I started Krishi Janani in 2016 to sort of figure out, in addition to my technology background, I also come from a farming family background. So I sort of wanted to figure out if there is some way we can not solve the agrarian crisis. That's a bit too much for anyone to claim. So what we were trying to see was, can we take a small bite-sized chunk of it and try to solve that particular chunk? And the area that we have decided to focus on is sort of soil and water and regenerative agroecology, as we call it. And so we have been working on the ground since 2016. This is something that we decided in the very get-go is from 2016 to this year, we were almost a physical, we were based in two villages in Erode district and Tirupur district in Tamil Nadu. We were working with farmers. We were learning what farmers were doing. We were sort of understanding their problems. So we didn't go in with a technology solution in mind. We wanted to go in, understand the problem, and then figure out a technology solution. And this year onwards, our sort of prototyping / pilot phase is over. We are a for-profit social enterprise. So in a way, we had set certain years aside for prototyping. And this year onwards, it's our scaling and growth phase where we are sort of building Janani, which is a marketplace for regenerative agroecology. It's for profitability of regenerative farmers and health and nutritious food to consumers. So Janani is a platform, farmer to consumer marketplace, where we are connecting farmers practicing regenerative agroecology to consumers who are looking for traceable and trusted organic food. So that's sort of the very high level overview of the platform. What it results in on the ground are three things. One is a local language mobile app that we use as sort of the transition support or almost like an ag extension service for farmers. It's Janani, it's a Tamil language app. And the second part of it is Annalakshmi, who it's a women's network. They take farmers' products to consumers, directly to consumers. So it's an alternate retail channel that we are building to take farmers' products to consumers. And the third part of it is a youth network, because we believe that it's the future of soil, water, agroecology, biodiversity, and all these things need to rest with youth. So we are also building a youth network where the mobile app will serve as a knowledge hub. Youth will learn from it, grow healthy things on healthy soil, and Annalakshmis will take the healthy products to the consumers. So that's in a nutshell our technology program as well as our organizational mission. So we call ourselves an agri-tech company, but we took almost a long time to even think about building tech. So that being the first lesson that I would like all of us to think about is, don't go into a problem with technology in mind. think about the problem, think about the solution, and then find the right technology. So with that, I think Vijender and I will have a conversation that will reveal some of the other aspects of technology, but I'll stop right here.
Thank you, Usha. And then to start with, I mean, like, it's wonderful to. It's always happy to know about an initiative which is especially social enterprise, and whenever we hear it from the founder and co-founder themselves, they always narrate that the personal story, why that figure is there, why that grit. Happy to know that about Krishi Janani. And however, jumping into our topic, let me start with very broad question. That is like, is it really important, or like, is it really technology adoption is going to be very important or not important to social enterprises? And like, maybe you can cover all the lenses of it, like risk or competitiveness or resource management or cost cut. Maybe can you show some share your opinion on those lines?
Yeah. So I think one of the very big common thread through all social enterprises is that we are all struggling to solve large social problems with limited resources, right? So technology then becomes almost an inevitable tool that we should all master. Only because technology gives you a rocket engine power with limited funding, with limited resources, you can exponentially grow your reach, your impact, and the long-term sustainability of your own organization. A good organization, whether for risk reasons, competitive reasons, resource reasons, today you cannot escape technology. And thanks to the widely available 5G networks across India, now our audiences are also very tech savvy, and they're expecting a certain level of tech savviness from companies they work with, right? Or companies they buy services from. So in that case, it becomes really important for an organization to understand technology and build something. And the third word I'm going to use is going to be the critical word, which is we will have to keep rebuilding. Right? So understanding that and constantly looking at your technology, rebuilding, what are people using? Am I in that platform? How many of us would have thought that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, we will all be using social media so much?
Yeah.
And how many of us 2 years ago in 2019, if it was the same time, how many of us would have even heard of Zoom?
Zoom. Yeah.
Right. So it's inevitable. And therefore, let's be smart about it. Let's get on top of it before that overwhelms us.
Yeah, that's really insightful. And can we get a little deeper into like what kind of we all the social enterprises or anybody who is into problem solving would always deal with a lot of data collection or data management or some sort of a data. Sometimes it is hard to have a question, or like, how do we collect this data? How do we manage this data? Are there any tools, or like, do you have any idea, or do you use any tools, or do you suggest any tools to our enterprises, or is it really worth?
Sure. So I will give a slightly longer answer for this one, because I think it's important for us to understand not just the data tools, but also sort of a set of tools. Right? Because for one, data collection is a challenge today. Yesterday, we might have had some other challenge. Day after tomorrow, we might have some other challenge. The thing that we need to be smart about is that, are there tools out there that I can run right away with, right? I will divide, say, any social enterprises, including ours, and I'm sure including CSRB. What do? We have some internal tasks that we need to do, that we can sit in our desks and do it. It is internal only, it's our time. Then there is a internal plus external world that we are looking to have we are functioning in it. And then there is the external world where we are working and where we are putting our best face forward and, trying to help people become aware of social issues and do certain things, behavior change or whatever it is, in a different way, right? So if you looked at it from a very high level, if I can use examples, your network may be an internal only tool. Email will be an example of an internal plus external tool. And your website will be an example of purely outward facing tool.
Yeah.
In all these, in whether it's your network or whether it's your email or whether it's your website, you are also generating a lot of data. Question is, you have to first think about, what data am I generating? Do I want to keep that data? What am I going to do with that data? How can I be better at that entire from data collection to data usage? Let's take the network. I have BSNL and I have both the fiber and the landline. And, as you can see, I just needed a backup. When our fiber went down, I needed the landline to back it up. That probably generates data, but I really don't care that much about the data that's being generated by my network. Whereas when it comes to the email, I may be sharing files, I may be sharing, beneficiary data, I may be sharing private data that needs to be secured. So in that case, what needs to happen is your organization needs to be, all of your team members need to understand how to use email, how to use data, what is shareable and what is not shareable, what you should share within and what you can share outside. So those data policies as well as data related questions will be different from, say, on the website, you have a sign up form. People are coming and signing up for it. You're going to send them an email newsletter or a text message. You're going to get them on a WhatsApp group or one of those things, or they may buy something from you. They may buy a report, or in our case, they may buy some of our products. So in that case, we need to consolidate, collect, track, analyze, and report data that we collect. In this case, the requirement is much, much different from, say, internal or internal plus external. And so for each of those areas, there are different data tools that you can use, that you can benefit from. I think most of us, because we do the external only data collection, I will talk about, say, you can, from a basic survey tool, you can use a survey tool to collect data. Right? There are fantastic survey tools. Many are available for free. And this is another tip that I want you to take home with you today, is many companies, they will have either a very, very cheap plan for NGOs. They will give a discount or a deal for NGOs. And even if you're registered for-profit social enterprise, you can write to them and ask, hey, we are a social enterprise, will you give us that discounts? And most of them are happy to give that discount. So survey tools, or many of the tools that we use today, like Google has a whole set of tools. Google even now has released a tool where you can build a mobile app on top of the Google Sheet application, right? I think some people use Zoho as a replacement for Google. They also have their own set of data collection tools. In addition to the survey tools I was mentioning, MailChimp and newsletter tools that you can send out newsletters, they can also collect data. Among all these things, there is also another set of purely database as a service. We use one of them called Airtable. We love that tool because that powers our entire operations. However, we didn't arrive at Airtable on day one. Airtable itself is relatively new. We used many of the tools I told you about. We used an open source website builder called WordPress. Then we used an open source website builder called Drupal. both of them had their own backend databases. And when we realized that that is not holding us enough, that is not giving us enough power, we needed an enterprise resource planning tool that had its own database. And finally, we have arrived at Airtable today, right? So what I would like to leave for that question is that selecting a tool, testing it out, using it, all of that is a process, and you will do that many times. And data is just one such tool.
Yeah. So would you recommend, like, somehow I see Airtable is like somewhere you have finally laid to. So would you suggest Airtable is like some sort of a good tool to go ahead?
So here is one thing I should have made it clear in the outset, right? We are talking about technology for operations, technology tools.
Yeah.
I'm going to mention a lot of tools. And in my previous life, I was a consultant. So I will give you the caveat that we always use when we start conversations in consultant speak, which is it depends on your context.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So there is
when
no
we opened
one.
the entire session, you are precisely telling me key problem, solution, and then choose the technology.
Right.
We never have a standard solution for everything. Yeah, I understand.
So Airtable is something that I recommend you check out, but
Yeah.
don't take any of the tools I'm talking about here as either a recommendation or an endorsement, or I don't know anything about your context. So it may or may not suit your context.
Yeah.
All of them are available for free in the trial version. Take it for a spin, try it for some time, see if it works.
But one thing is for sure, without trial, we cannot decide anything. Is something we need to figure it out. And yeah. And however, the number of tools or like something you have mentioning during the session, we would later provide them as a text or like a script keynotes when we launch this, like when we provide this session to YouTube, so they can always, our participants can always refer there. Then leading to next question, I would have it in mind is like something. Yeah, now we talked about like there are no standard solutions or technology. We have to experiment or trial and error basis. We have to figure it out. And can we say something on technology? Most of the times, in my understanding, also technology helps to collect data from volume, or like whenever we are handling a lot of beneficiary number of it deals with big numbers. So can we say that social enterprise or technology enabled or adopted social enterprise can have scalability easily, or technology is an enabler of scaling up their operations? Can we say that, or like what's your take on it?
I think I mentioned once during our pre-meeting is that technology is an enabler, period, right? Technology can enable your bad habits. Technology can enable your good habits. Technology can enable good processes that your organization has come up with. Technology can enable bad processes that your organization can come up with. So for it to become an enabler of scale or growth, what I would recommend is from day one, think about scale and growth and what it would look like. Right? So in system terms, we call it end state architecture. Right? What is my end state vision that I'm looking at? And then map your path from here to there with small baby steps of technologies, different technologies that you will try to get you there. Right? So some people may want to build a mobile app so they can reach people faster. For some people, it may not be the right tool. No one is, their constituency may not download a new app and try. So they may be better off building a good website. So this is why I keep saying it depends on the context. It depends on the context, but technology can definitely enable scale and growth if you had thoughtfully designed that process. So for example, one of our learning from the beginning is that farmers, particularly regenerative farmers, there are farmers who are practicing organic agriculture because they did not believe in chemical agriculture. So they have learned a lot. They have learned how to fight pests without depending on chemical pesticides. So there's all this knowledge that results with them. One easy way to scale that and to get that all across Tamil Nadu is to make it available as a Tamil snippet somewhere where young people or people wanting to convert, people wanting to transition can get at it, right? So I can do a meeting, I can do an in-person event, or I can even do a Zoom meeting. But say if it's available as a knowledge resource on our mobile app, you can come look at it at your own pace, save it to your personal library. My reach and my scale has multiplied without me putting too much effort into it, right? Of course, I had to build a mobile app for it. So there is the possibility for technology to help scale and grow your business model, but you have to be thoughtful about it from the beginning.
The initial stage itself, like, have to be very, very clear what scale, what is that technology I have to. Yeah, thank you for that insight. And in that case, like we are in there are multiple aspirants also, and at a later stage, these videos are accessed by people who are just starting their social enterprises, and they would have certain hurdles in adopting these tools. Can you suggest any tool or like which can give them some sort of a exposure to this operation, like which is just a start to start with, a tool to start with in enterprise management?
Sure. So enterprise management, enterprise resource planning, these are, so if you have products, right? The minimum you want to do is inventory management. You want to know how many products came in, you want to know how many products were sold, what was the frequency of sale, how often should you refill. All these are what your enterprise resource planning tool will help you manage. Having said that, many of the tools I mentioned earlier, like Google, Zoho, Airtable, they all have templates for inventory management that you can download and use and understand how inventory management works and how it can benefit your organization. Next level, there are open source ERP tools. I'm thinking of Odoo. We used to use Odoo before we switched to Airtable. ERP Next is an open source tool as well. There are open source tools, but there are also solutions available online as a software as a service that you can only lease and don't worry about having to implement it yourself. Right? So it's a process. Again, you start with something that you are already familiar with. Learn what ERP is, inventory management is, how goods move around, what sales are being made, and all that. And then you can graduate to some of the tools. And all Google or Zoho or Airtable or all of them actually have easy templates to use for you to try first.
Thank you, Usha. And I have like just reflecting on even I was reflecting on the same question which I asked you. So I came up with this question just now. A lot of people actually like big corporates like Google provides a lot of enterprise management tools like which are freely available. So have you actually seen a lot of people using these things? Because like I have hardly seen. Out of like 25 enterprises, I do see 1 or 2 enterprises using these free tools available. Why people don't use these, or like am I not aware of these? I'm like, this is a question almost all the social enterprises ask me. New ones, especially.
Yeah, so here is the challenge, right? All of us have our day-to-day work to do. All of us have fires that we are putting out on a daily basis. Right? So who has really time to go research some tool, find a tool, come implement a tool, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But I am here to tell you that if there is one thing that you should do for the future of your organization, just say, I am going to dedicate Wednesday afternoon only to become smart about technology and research something. I will only spend 2 hours. Right? Because that's where we keep postponing and saying, oh, when we have more time, we will go find the tool. We never have the time because we don't have the tool. And so it becomes a wish repeating, right? So we are collecting things, even free things we don't actually use. Because for instance, CRM, customer relationship management is another big area that all of us, we want our customer data. We want to be able to say, we have a number of people in this area. If I did an event in that region, there are some 10,000 of my customers. I need to let them know that we are coming there. However, to have that level of interaction, engagement, and relationship with your customer, you need data, right? Again, there are tools like Salesforce. Salesforce gives, I think, 10 seats for non-pro NGOs for free.
Yeah.
But how many of us actually go apply, get it, try something, and store our database in it, right? So store our CRM, because if you use that, they already have some pre-built data dashboards, maps, reports, all of that come automatically for you. To answer your question, Vijender, I will challenge all of us to find time.
Sort these. Yeah. We missed you in between. Usha. Yeah.
I'm going to turn my video off. Can you hear me now?
Now we can hear you.
Yeah.
We missed you in between. So can you repeat from Vijender? You challenge on that.
Can you repeat that?
So you were saying you are challenging participants to actually get the time to explore these tools, right? That's where you ended.
Yeah, and even find, like, maybe even take it to the next level. Instead of just researching, say, I will learn to use a new technology tool this month, or I will implement a new technology tool in the trial version in my organization this month, and see how it goes.
So the major bottleneck is like we ourselves as any other problem. So here technology is not the problem.
Right, exactly.
So more just to make sure, I think more or less what we are trying to here see is like, however, technology is just an enabler. All like we are all social entrepreneurs, we work with different problems and we come up with different solutions. So you always need to figure out our own customized tool or technology which is enabling us. That is fair understanding we have developed now. And so how different, like you have been a consultant of technology and then you have been training people on technology and now you're a social enterprise. How it is very different? Is there any difference of technology adoption in social enterprise or regular enterprise? If so, like, can you please share any story or experience of it?
The experience has been similar only because we were also consultants for mission-oriented organizations, right? We were consulting for primarily for NGOs, and we were building tools for NGOs. We were custom building tools for NGOs. The difference between where I am today and where I was professionally is that professionally we would get called by organization that's already in a certain level of maturity, right? They are actually calling a consultant to help them with technology. So they means that they have at least worked with technology for that long. As a social enterprise, especially as a startup social enterprise, we are in the stage of pre-consultant or we can get anyone to help. I think we are bootstrapping our technology infrastructure. So thankfully, because of our experience, we have accessed some of the very good tools I talked to you about earlier. But in this case, we find that we have to be the more proactive. I'm going to find something, we'll try to figure out how to make it work. And we will use it for, say, a year or 2 years, and then learn from it and move on to other tools. So that's the difference between my profession right. So the only thing that I will one experience that I want to leave with all of the participants here is that don't ever set out to custom create a tool as a first step, because no tool will anyway fit your needs 100%. There is no tool like that. It doesn't exist. It only exists in our imagination, in fact.
So we
So
always
try.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, please continue.
So first try some of the tools, use some of the already available, needed create a tool for yourself, right? Then that way you would have learned and you can give correct design requirements or functional requirements or what you want to do to the developers. Because developers, I was a developer once, so our bad habit is that whatever you ask us to build, we will start building, right? We won't ask you why or what or how. That responsibility is with you as an organization. So for me, the advice that I want to leave you with is be smart, know technology, and know technology enough before you set out to custom build something.
Yeah. Thank you, Usha. Amit, I'll just put one more last question. I would say, how this entire technology, like you have been engaged with multiple organizations and with your experience, can you share your opinion on how this is going to influence any shareholder or stakeholder of this entire technology enablement? Technology, we all know technology has become a horizontal, but how important it is also for shareholders of your enterprise.
When you say shareholders, are you talking about investors / shareholders like investors. That, or
investors more like?
Right. So in terms of investors and shareholders or other stakeholders, your funders, for the grants that you're going to be writing, your philanthropic grants that you're going to be seeking and all that, most of them, they want to invest in you because you have said that you will be able to be profitable and create impact. Both, you are promising both. That's why you're a social enterprise, right? And for them, technology and your grasp of technology is their quick way of assessing whether you will be able to scale or grow. So they are looking at you, they are looking to you to be savvy with technology and to actually get your customers on board the technology. Right? So for us, because our scaling and growth, the Tamil language mobile app is how we are planning to scale and grow across all of Tamil Nadu. Right? We still will be based in rural Tirupur, but we need to be able to reach all of the farmers in Tamil Nadu. So if that is the case, then what is the sort of, what can I show shareholders, investors, grant makers, funders? that we are using technology effectively to reach farmers, right? So in that way, technology becomes almost your calling card for some of the funding.
And yeah, it's already time. I didn't even realize.
Yeah, and I can stay on a 5 or 10 minutes longer. I really.
So yeah, as it is time, like we already said, last 10 minutes will take the participant. I can see 2 questions from Q&A box, which are very, very specific. So should I read out these questions for you?
No, I can see the question. I'll take Sham Kumar.
Yeah. Yeah.
What do you I am a NGO working with FPOs. What do farmers manage his own traceability to create value for his commodity? Traceability is a very interesting word. Traceability is sort of becoming a big thing now, and it can be defined in many different ways. They use Facebook to traceable. So every week you will see the farmer post 3 or 4 stories about what they did on their farm. The work that went on, the biopesticide that they applied, the chemical-free process that they did, with only 2 or 3 pictures and a few paragraphs of what happened. Based on that, they have built a huge fan following that when this particular farmer grows organic turmeric, when turmeric harvest comes, he is able to sell almost 60 to 80% of his turmeric before it's harvested even. Because he says, I'm taking reservation. If you want, let me know. When I'm finished with harvesting, I will process, powder, and dispatch it to you. And his whole family is engaged in this enterprise. So in this case, it's the Facebook, which we use for all other purposes, is the traceability tool. I'm using that one as an example, right? There are other tools, other ways to do traceability. And you as an INGO can maybe even implement a traceability tool that many farmers can use. There are some ways of doing that. And the next question from Chandrasekharan Jayaraman. For a social enterprise for profit, it's difficult to put an MIS in place for managing process. Management information systems, people come, staff drop out. What is the best tool today to adapt and automate all processes throughout? And which does good data mining for domain-specific customers? I think I mentioned some of the data-related tools already. Many of the data-related tools, in addition to sort of tools like Microsoft has a BI tool, business intelligence tool, IBM has a business intelligence tool. They can do data mining and all sorts of good things for you. For staff turnover and for staff sort of leaving and training new staff, that's a whole, it's almost like CSRB should do a whole another session on that topic. Because I think it's a challenge not just for technology, right? It's a challenge for all aspects of your operations. So I would recommend having really good backup in place, meaning not just for data. If there is one person who is doing your data input, you should have someone else trained to be your backup data input person. So your backup in terms of team, as well as your systems, as well as your data. So I can be Google, suddenly Google is missing in action for 2 days. What am I going to do? You will think that it doesn't happen, but it has happened before. Things like that. have a very good backup system and processes in place for all of it. That's pretty much my advice on that topic.
Thank you, Usha. We do not have any other questions in place, but like I have many questions to ask. Nine?
Sure, go ahead.
So I just wanted to hear from, like, you have been covering that element in the previous years also. So how good this customer relation management CRM is always there. Like many of the softwares or like many of small or big companies have come up with the CRM. Do you have any CRM tool in your experience where we can, like, as a social enterprise, can we rely on it? Any suggestions on that where we can start our trial?
Sure. And as I mentioned earlier, Salesforce provides 10 licenses for free for NGOs and social enterprises. There are other tools like HubSpot. I think there's one called Fresh Sales.
Yeah.
And if you're interested and have open source technology resources, there is an open source CRM tool called CRM. And we had done a few implementations of that a few years ago. So CRM is again a huge animal that you can, it's like, you know, the famous Indian fable of blind people touching different parts of the elephant and saying, this is a tree, or this is a fan, you know, a person touches the trunk and says, this is a tree. Like that, CRM can mean different things to different organizations. If your CRM is focused on sending newsletters out, think about Salesforce, HubSpot, things like that. But many of us today deal with WhatsApp as our primary CRM/communication tool, right? There are little plugins for WhatsApp. We use one frequently called software, which actually helps us send tens and tens of messages to our farmers through one interface. Otherwise, you will have to go to each of them and send it to them, because we don't want to be, you know, they usually don't like being in a group. They don't want to see messages that are, you know, all the various good morning and good afternoon messages that go through the group. So we usually have better engagement when we send direct messages to them, but we can't do that for 10,000 farmers in our database.
Yeah.
Whereas Global Gym, for example, makes that easier. So even for your existing tools, there are plugins that you can use to convert it into a relationship manager for you.
I think, yeah, we can start somewhere there. And like you have been working with farmers. So what tool do you use, and how is this experience of getting or making farmers technology user friendly and all? You share that.
Sure, and I'll also use that opportunity to answer one other, or rather to put forward one other thesis, is that the thing that we should be careful with is to build tools and then expect them to arrive. Right? We have to constantly be working to create engagement, to get them to come check out the tool, because we released our mobile app in February. It's only available in Android. The iOS version will be available soon. But almost every month we have a small campaign, and our idea is to bring about 50 or 100 on board at a time, so that we can help them navigate through the modules, help them engage better with the tool. So for us, our set of tools are pretty much the same. We Google and its various Google Sheets, Google Docs, things like that, and Google Drive for all our documents. WhatsApp is one of our primary way of communicating. We are slowly moving away from WhatsApp into our own mobile. going to take us almost 2 years. That's what we are planning. We'll love to use WhatsApp. And to reach farmers, I should point out that we didn't build anything specific, because farmers got 4G, 5G connection. And they started using WhatsApp. We didn't do anything, right? So I often use WhatsApp as an example. If a tool is friendly, if a tool is easy to use, they will find it and they will use it. However, you have to keep working on your tool to make it useful for them. If it is useful for me, I will use it.
Yeah.
Right? I think that's the challenge more than anything else with technology.
Yeah, that's, I mean, like, is all like, we might actually hear the same answer, or like every time we being a social entrepreneur or like something, we always look at customized solutions and all. Today, like, your insights are also directing us to the same direction. We never have a standard tool, or like we always need to figure out a trial and error basis. We need to figure out our own solution. And in the technology also, we should not get overwhelmed with something you're constantly being pointing out. And I guess like our participants have learned that clearly. I have learned very clearly that like there is no standard tool available. So we need to trial and error and like customize for our needs. Thank you, Usha, for that. And the one last request I would say, ki, what do you ask or like call for an action for the participants who are attending, or like who have been listening to us from 1 hour, last 1 hour? Any call for action you would suggest?
Sure. I hope my video works for this part. So I have, from our organizational perspective, of course, there is a Tamil language mobile app. If you're from Tamil Nadu, please download, install, let us know how you like it. It's primarily meant for farmers and our Anlakshmi women's network, but you can find a lot of useful information in it. But as a call to action, what I would like to speak about, powerful media, right? And only now with 4G, now 5G, and many others to come, more and more of our local language speakers are going to come online. I think this entire session has been in English, but I think frequently in the future, there will be a need, because one of my pet topics and passion is multilingual technology, right? And one of the things that all of us can do, we all have, English is our sort of the language that we learned later. All of us have mother tongues. All of us speak 1 or 2 languages. So the action item that I would like to leave you all with is, please all use in computing, because many will be news. There are many good tools for, say, Tamil or Telugu speakers, because many use that language while browsing, searching online, or things like that, right? So if all of us can think of it as our personal responsibility to create local language content and to compute and to use internet in local languages, so that in the future, when more and more of local language speakers rich repository of content. That's my request for all of you as an actor.
In the last 10 seconds, we miss you. It is not clear.
Requesting everyone to use their local for internet browsing and computing, because that will lead to more content for future local language speakers who will come online.
Great. I mean, like, that's a very positive note, and like, I think we all should think about it. And yeah, our beneficiary are the more likely social entrepreneurs are focused on deprived classes, deprived communities. So this local is something is going to be all should be looking at it, and like I think we will also promote as and when it is possible for us with that. And
Thank you.
yeah, that's where we came to last minutes of this session. Yeah, I didn't even realize it's been only we hardly exchanged our questions. Anyhow, thank you, Usha Devi. uh, Thank you, Usha Devi, and thank you everyone for attending today's essay talk. We have been maybe we could cover all the topics in technology as an enabler. So we would might come up with one more technology session, which where we would talk more about not just enterprise management, but like technology as a solution provider in the problem solving of any social issue. That would be another topic, another session. And if you have any other questions, if you are like disabled or like couldn't ask any questions, please reach out on a mail ID which will be mentioned in chat box from Parvati. So thank you, Parvati, also, who has been behind all this, organizing everything. Thank you, Parvati, and thank you all once again.